Batts Live pertaining to the death of David Batts. He was in the Knox County detention facility and later died at the hospital. UT 3-hour live. I bring you commentary pertaining to the video that's been released by the Knox County Sheriff's Department. Also, he was diagnosed in this autopsy with having meningitis. So I bring you a description of what meningitis is, how it can affect a person's health. It is a deadly disease if untreated, and you can decide for yourself after watching the video if the officers played a role in the demise of Mr. Batts, his health. Also, he had fentanyl in his system. All those things combined alongside being sprayed, pepper sprayed, tased, punched in the face by officers. It's all on the video. You can decide if they murdered Mr. Batts. Now, Sharm Allen, the district attorney, says no one is at fault from the jail system. FBI is not investigating this as a murder. The case is closed. But Mr. Crump is representing the family, and they wanted transparency and answers to the death of their loved one. So that video has been released to the public. Please check out that content. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BigAngie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during this live stream. Happy birthday, Queen. Today, I am 54 years of age. I'm blessed to be alive. Thank you, God. And I want to thank all my fans, supporters, new subscribers, old subscribers, new viewers. Thank you all for the love and support. This is a 4-part live because they're all connected some form or another. New executive orders coming down from Donald Trump pertaining to trans persons. He does not want trans persons in the military. He don't want them in sports. He wants there to only be man, woman boxes checked on documents and identified as only a man or a woman, either or. Also, no care for trans children under the age of 19. So that means a child cannot get any type of medical care for hormone therapy, treatment, sex change. A lot of information I'm bringing you. And also, no trans in the military. So military, sports, no trans in the prisons, and no care for children under the age of 19. Content before I show the videos. Thank you for watching this network, 4-part live, everybody. This content is pertaining to trans Americans. Anybody identifying as trans, bisexual, whichsoever. It's the latest information. Thank you.
There are only 2 genders, male and female.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Protecting women from radical gender ideologies. Ooh.
No disrespectful comments. You will be blocked. You don't have to agree, but I'm not going to have any disrespect in the chat. So. You have to identify with your sex depending on birth records. What's on your birth certificate? New executive order. Also, immigration detainees restricting their housing and health care based on their sex at birth. All right, that's the latest information. Lord. What did I think I opened up a can of worms. I do believe. Go to my community page. I've got questions on my community page pertaining to each topic, okay? Each topic. Sorry about that. Hold on. Volume cutting off of here. Hold on, everybody. Well, for some reason, she just will not stop.
Policy of the United States that there are only 2 genders.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. I'm about to throw this thing in the garbage. She just will not stop. She does her own thing, especially when I go live. She just she can't get on board with the program. Just want to bring you content pertaining to that article. For some reason I'm having difficulty pertaining to that information. 1 second, everybody. Once again, as I said, this is a 4-part live dealing with the LGBTQ identification and clarification. This is going to be pertaining to the prisons. We're going to start there first, and then we're going to work our way on down. As I said, take the polls on my community page and answer the questions pertaining to trans persons in sports, military, no care for children under the age of 19, and identifying as also male or female. I put that up on a poll about a week ago. Feel free to go back a week or so and take that poll. So make sure I remember everything. Military, prisons. I can't remember. It's too much to remember. Damn. That's why I hate when I put all these in one video, but I had to because I wanted to get it over with. Okay. Several trans women incarcerated in federal women's facilities have been moved into isolation and notified they will be transferred to men's facilities. Advocates told HuffPost the women are moved in the days following President Trump's signing of a sweeping executive order that redefines sex and excludes transgender people from sex discrimination protections. The order, signed during Trump's few hours in office, declared there are only 2 sexes, male and female, called on government officials to ensure that no transgender women are in women's detention centers and that no federal funds are used to provide gender-affirming care to incarcerated people. So it goes further than what I just brought you pertaining to children under 19. Now he's also saying you won't get any type of treatment, hormone treatment or anything while incarcerated. Okay, very interesting information. A.D. Lewis, an attorney at the Prison Law Office, a nonprofit law firm that focuses on constitutional protections for trans people, estimates there are fewer than 10 trans women in federal women's prisons. So that's about 1%. Lewis and other advocates have been notified that several of them have been placed in segregation and notified they will be transferred to men's facilities. Some of the women have not been reachable, potentially because they are in solitary confinement without access to communication devices. Trans people in BOP custody have also reported issues assessing hormones, Lewis said. That's another thing I'm going to put on my poll. Do you think they should be getting any type of care in prison? Now, medical care, yes. You having some medical issues, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, you need eyewear. You know, I'm all for everybody being able to see, you know, while incarcerated. But do you really need hormone therapy while in prison? Hell no, that's my opinion. You don't need no hormone therapy in prison. You're in prison. You get out of prison, you can do whatever you want. You want to get your boobs done, your butt done, you want to get injections, that's your opinion. That's my opinion. I don't agree with you getting no damn hormone treatment in prison. That's just me, because that defeats the purpose of you being in the prison of the sex that you're trying to identify with. It just doesn't make any sense to me. That's just my opinion. One of the transgender women who was placed in solitary and notified of a transfer to a men's prison sued the Trump administration on Sunday night, the first known legal challenge to the executive order, alleging that the order put her safety at risk. The Massachusetts woman at the center of the suit, who is identified as Maria Moe, began medically transitioning when she was 15 and has been housed in a women's facility since her arrest. The day after Trump signed the executive order, the Bureau of Prisons notified her she will be moved to a men's facility. According to the suit, by Saturday, BOP reclassified Moe from female to male in publicly available records, the suit said. GLBTQ legal advocates and defenders and the National Center for Lesbian Rights, the organizations representing Moe, alleged that Trump's definition of sex is intentionally designed to discriminate against transgender people. Moe will be at an extremely high risk of harassment, abuse, violence, sexual assault, and her mental health may suffer from losing access to hormone therapy, the group's warned. Now, I brought you commentary over a year or so ago, coming up maybe 2 years. I brought you content pertaining to a man who got women pregnant in the prisons. He was labeled a trans person, and he was put in a women's prison, and he ended up impregnating, I believe, a guard or someone in the prison, New Jersey or whatever. He's since been moved as well. Please check out that video in the YouTube library and also my library. Please check out that video. It's very informative. Okay, so the people representing Miss Mo is saying basically she needs hormone therapy, which I disagree with. I think if it's not life-threatening, you don't need hormone therapy. That's just my personal opinion. The complaint alleges that Mo's transfer violates constitutional protections granted by the Fifth Amendment's due process clause and the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. Well, would you consider that cruel and unusual punishment because you can't get hormone therapy? Just saying. How's that cruel? It's going to hinder you from breathing, hinder you from living while in prison. You're not being starved, you're eating. Just saying. How's getting hormone therapy going to hinder your livelihood? I'd like to know. Okay. It also argues that Trump's order failed to comply with federal laws governing changes to rulemaking with the Bureau of Prisons. You can't just wave your hand or sign an executive order to limit or take away these protections. Richard Sainz, a criminal justice attorney at Lambda Legal, told HuffPost. My personal fear as an attorney who represents and works with incarcerated people is that this will put so many people in harm's way. It feels like the president is saying that it's okay to villainize and marginalize specific populations, which is wrong, which is just wrong. Although Republican officials have targeted trans people with a record-breaking amount of state legislation, it is particularly difficult to be trans in prisons and detention facilities because of the near total control of the government exercises over the people in its custody, including their housing, access to health care, clothing, jobs, and even their relationships. Trans people face disproportionate rates of incarceration. Once locked up, they are more likely to be victims of violence than cisgendered people, which Queen don't like that word either. Many women who are straight, identify as straight, we don't care for that word cisgender. Just saying, throwing it out there. Even before Trump's executive order, it had been difficult for trans people, regardless of whether they were in state or federal custody, to access gender-affirming care and housing. On the state level, trans people. States including Florida, Missouri have enacted policies that bar trans people in prisons from not only receiving gender-affirming care, but also clothing, haircuts that match their gender identity. Some progressive states technically allow gender-affirming care and housing, but on case-by-case basis. Access often requires individuals to spend years navigating a bureaucratic process or pursuing litigation. Okay. Oh, thank you for the birthday. Thank you so much. See, this is where this is ridiculous. Come on now. That's not violating your civil rights. It's not even mandated that anybody gets their hair done in prison. Now, you get likes of cooties. Yeah, they might want to treat that. So spread to other inmates, staff members. But you getting a haircut to identify as a certain sex is bullshit, okay? Because frankly, whether your hair is long, medium length, shaved, we have people who've shaved their heads, they're men and women, whether they're bisexual, whatever, trans. There are women I know, they wear their hair low, they wear mohawks, they wear mullets. So to say, oh, I got to get a certain type of haircut to identify with my sex is just bullshit. Now, this is where you're pushing it. And this is not a violation of your civil rights. You want a certain type of hairstyle to identify with a certain sex. Now, this is crazy to me. Now, this is absolutely crazy to me. Okay. It says, access often requires individuals to spend years navigating, once again, bureaucratic process or pursuing litigation. The Prison Rape Elimination Act, a law enacted in 2003, but not implemented until 2012, required prison officials to conduct housing reviews for incarcerated trans people at least twice a year to determine on a case-by-case basis where they should be in prison. The law states that the individual's views on their own safety should be given serious consideration, but it does not provide meaningful guidance on how housing decisions should be made. So just like the case I brought you all of the black guy who was sleeping with the damn inmates in the prison, well, one, you didn't care about whatever you were doing to get locked up, because that is a choice. When we break the law, we go to jail or prison. That is a choice, okay? Number two, you identifying as a female, dressing as a female, wanting to wear makeup, but yet your penis found its way inside of somebody's vagina in the prison. So most people are going to say, well, how do you feel threatened by being in a men's prison and you're still using your organ to penetrate a woman's vagina? Yeah, I said that. And I'm keeping it real. You feel safe enough to be in a women's prison. I want everybody to listen now. You feel safe enough to be in a women's prison. You don't want to be in a men's prison because you're worried about somebody beating you to death or raping you. But you didn't mind using that same penis to have sex with women and make them pregnant. Make a guard or so pregnant. Help me understand. I'm woke. I'm just saying. Damn. Okay, where was I? Oh, Lord of mercy. Once again, they feel like the safety should be given serious consideration. 2017, the Obama administration issued guidance that echoed the PREA housing language and stated that hormone or other medical treatment may be provided after an individualized assessment by the prison's medical staff. The Trump administration rolled back that guidance the following year, directing the Bureau of Prisons to use biological sex to make housing decisions and adding the word necessary to the section on medical treatment. The Biden administration reinstated the Obama guidelines. As of Monday, BOP had not posted any updated guidance on its website. We don't have a sex-segregated system. We have a gender segregation system. A.D. Lewis, an attorney at the prison law office. A small number of incarcerated trans people live in gender-congruent housing, Lewis said. Advocates estimate there are 50 to 100 trans people in gender-congruent housing nationwide, including state and federal prisons and county jails. We don't have a sex-segregated system. We have a genital-based segregation system. Trump's new order endangers the lives of trans women in federal prisons by throwing this patchwork of scant protections into chaos, according to criminal defense lawyers. From the immediate nature of the order to its lack of understanding about the prison system itself, the order appears designed to spawn pandemonium. Sonia Pfeiffer, an attorney who co-chairs the Women in Criminal Defense Committee, told HuffPost in a written statement. A prison transfer is not a simple process of piling people into a van and driving them to another facility. The process takes days, if not weeks. And once a transfer is initiated, the person who is moving to another facility is put into segregation or solitary confinement. Prolonged solitary confinement is recognized by the United Nations as a form of torture. In 1976, the U.S. Supreme Court held that the Eighth Amendment requires prison authorities to provide adequate medical care for prisoners' serious medical conditions. To prove a constitutional violation, individuals have to show they have a serious medical need and demonstrated deliberate indifference to that need. So I'm still trying to understand, how do you all feel like a person should be getting hormone treatment in prison? You're in prison. You are in prison. And if you're worried about your safety being in a men's prison and you're a man but trying to be a woman, you shouldn't want hormone therapy anyway, because that's just going to make you fill out more. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Over the past 30 years, federal courts and nearly every judicial circuit have recognized that for trans people, gender-affirming treatment is a serious medical need. Lewis said blanket bans on gender-affirming medical care and so-called freeze-frame policies, which allow hormone therapy only for trans people who are already receiving it, entering prison, have been struck down by federal courts. Although 2 circuit courts of appeal have held that blanket bans do not violate the Constitution, the issue has not yet made its way to the Supreme Court. Will this subject matter make it to the Supreme Court pertaining to trans women being moved out of women's prison? Will this make it to the Supreme Court? Although gender-congruent housing in detention facilities is still a developing area of law, several incarcerated trans people, including some in BOP custody, have secured gender-congruent housing through litigation, Lewis said. The executive order represents an escalation in Trump's attack on the rights of trans people, singling out a small number of individuals in particularly vulnerable settings for devastation consequences. The order comes months after a fierce election season during which Trump campaign spent millions on advertising to attack former Vice President Kamala Harris for supporting access to gender-affirming medical care for incarcerated trans people, which is protected by the Constitution. In total, Republicans spent at least $215 million on ads portraying trans people as a threat to society. Well, that's a lot of money spent, $215 million. In campaign stump speeches, Trump repeatedly pushed false claims about children getting operations at school without parental permission and vowed to keep men out of women's sports. So we're going to talk about that as well. Should women be in men's sports, men in women's sports? I say no to that too. I don't believe the opposite sex should be competing on a team where, and I would say more muscle mass. Everybody knows this. I don't want a man playing on a women's basketball team, and I don't think a woman should be playing on a men's basketball team. That's just how I feel. You can agree to disagree. The executive order is one of several actions taken by Trump that appear to be lifted directly from Project 2025, the conservative policy blueprint compiled by the Heritage Foundation for use in Trump's second term. The document, which Trump repeatedly tried to distance himself from during the campaign, claims there are only two sexes and calls for rescinding regulations prohibiting discrimination on the basis of gender identity or transgender status. Trump is expected coverage of transition-related medical care for current service members. So the transition care, Trump don't want it in the military. He don't want it for children under 19, and he doesn't want it in prisons. So that's what we're talking about during this live stream. 4 topics: trans in the military, trans in sports, care for children under 19, and trans in the prison system. 4-part topic. Please be respectful in the chat. If not, you will be blocked. Just gonna tell you now. So I don't want any derogatory talk and commentary, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm just here to bring you the information. Allow you to be derogatory in the chat. Your comment will be removed, and you also will be blocked from this network. Let's get down to business. We're going to talk about the armed forces. Should people be allowed to, number one, join the military as a trans, bisexual, homosexual? I guess the answer is going to be no, since Trump is saying, I don't want you in the military as a trans. Now we got to worry about medical care, hormone therapy, all the stuff that comes along with it. Oh, Lord, I'm exhausted from talking. Damn. Trump says, hell no, I don't want you in the military as a trans. I don't think you can do the job. From homosexual people, they're a couple. I don't even understand what I'm looking at. I don't know who's who. I just know there's a woman looking like a woman allegedly, and one looking like a man allegedly, and they are not they're not their biological sex, and they're in a relationship. They both are veterans. Oh, Jesus. We got to get it together. We as Americans, we got to get it together. Because that Trump has done over the years, and even some of these executive orders. But these 2 orders, I will agree with Donald Trump on, okay? And it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. As I said, I'm not a Trump fan. But I do believe you are either a woman or a man. And they don't have nothing to do with Donald Trump. That's my opinion. You are a man or you're a woman, point blank. Ain't no middle ground. And I don't want to call you something that you ain't. You expect me to call you that? I don't got to. Do I deal with you? Hell no, I don't have to. But I don't believe in that middle shit. I don't believe in that XYZ. Hell no. You are a man, you're a woman. It's confusing the children. See, that's the things people don't think about. You can call yourself whatever you want. I'm a wildflower. I'm a tractor trailer. I'm a truck. I'm an airplane. But logically speaking, you're a human being with 2 feet, 2 hands. You either born a man or born a woman. Why not be your best man, your best woman? You can never be a woman and you're a man. That's common sense. You're a woman and you can never be a man. You can do therapy, nip, tuck, pluck, pull stuff, tuck shit. It don't matter. You are still that person. And we have learned over the years, the people who have gotten surgeries, they were not happy afterwards. They still felt inadequate. And that's the thing a man needs to understand about getting your penis sliced and diced and your sack sliced up. You don't know how you're going to feel when you get that done. You don't know what it's going to do to you mentally. You don't know what it's going to do to you when you look down there and see, I don't really like the way this looks, because it's not a vagina. It ain't a vagina because God didn't give you a vagina. You may feel feminine. You may feel girly. You may feel like a woman. I'm not here to argue that. But there's no way you should want to get your private parts mutilated because you feel like you're a woman. You were meant to be born a woman. But that's the point. You weren't born a woman. And I don't wish that type of feeling on anyone. Let me make that clear. But the point is, do you want to mutilate your body on a feeling? Because many men have had the surgery done and they were not happy afterwards. They didn't feel complete afterwards. They didn't get the feeling and sensation they thought they should get. Well, you can't get it because you're not a woman. It's just like a man. I can't empathize how a man feels when he gets turned on because I'm not a guy. I don't have a penis. I don't have testicles. So how the hell would I know? I can't compare how I feel. If I say turned on, I mean, it's just not maybe the same turn on a man gets turned on. Yeah, we both get aroused, but it's different feelings because we're different sexes. And that's what people need to understand, especially men who want to go through this. And for those of you who think children should get sliced and diced, there's something wrong with you. Why the hell would you want your kid to go under a serious surgery of getting his penis tucked and ducked? For what? And we've seen that happen. A few years down the road, they ain't feeling too good. Oh, I made a mistake. I want my penis back. Well, you can't get it back. You can't get it back. Because now your penis and your testicles has been sliced in two. Just keeping it real. Let's talk about it all. Let's talk about it all, everybody. Welcome to the Vault Excel.
Executive order from President Trump taking aim at transgender military members. The order says transgender people cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for military service and are not consistent with the humility and selflessness required of a service member. One Air Force member tells News 4 he disagrees.
Trans people are ready to serve. I am here ready to serve, and there's thousands like me that are serving in our capacities.
Logan Ireland and his wife Layla are both transgender. Layla is also a retired.
The military is extremely tasked with defending our country and protecting all Americans. So banning a group of people from serving our country puts us all at risk.
Under the new executive order, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has 60 days to change the military standards on who is allowed to serve. The military is also now banned from using identification-based pronouns. Service members must use the sleeping and bathroom quarters of the sex they were born as. Now, there are still a lot of unknowns here. President Biden had previously signed an executive order saying transgender people could serve in the military and use healthcare coverage for gender-affirming care. President Trump's executive order overturns all of that. But it still remains to be seen how exactly the policies will change over the next 60 days. It's not clear if trans people in the military would be discharged, either honorably or dishonorably, or if they would have to serve as the sex they were at birth. Logan Ireland says he transitioned after joining the military and that his colleagues were supportive.
They saw that made me a better airman. It made me a better team member. One of the core values with the Air Force is integrity first. And by not living as my authentic self, I felt like I was violating my integrity.
President Trump's executive order already being challenged in federal court. A group of transgender service members is suing the president and military officials for allegedly violating their Fifth Amendment due process rights. The Department of Defense sent News 4 a statement saying it will fully execute and implement all directives outlined in the executive orders issued by the president, ensuring they are carried out with utmost professionalism, efficiency, and in alignment with national security objectives. We will provide status updates as we are able. Amy Cho, News 4.
Hold on.
Military members who have transgender children are already banned from using TRICARE for gender-affirming care. That rule took effect last December under a defense spending bill signed by President Biden.
Now, see, that's crazy. See, this is where you know that people are not level-headed. You decided you're trans, bisexual, homosexual, whatever. You think it's okay for your child to undergo the surgery. Why? Why? So you want your child to be like you, emulate you. So that's biasness there. So the government saying, if you are trans and you have asking for no funds, money, care to have your children turn. And I would agree with that. So to me, it doesn't even matter if the parent is trans or not. It's the point of you thinking it's okay to have a child operated on. That's where I had a problem. I don't care if the mother's trans, the daddy's trans. The point is, your children do not need under the knife. When they become an adult and they want to take the surgery, take the hormones, fine. But I do not believe, yes, that you need to be given medical care, medical hormones to children, because that's the point, they're children. Children will change their mind about a lot of things. And we have seen this so many times with people dipping their foot in the same sex pond. Many women have tried, kissing, groping a girl, having sex with a girl, whatever. And then when she looks up, it wasn't for her, and she likes men. So that's the whole point of why children don't need to be getting hormone therapy and sex changes, because you're entitled to change your mind. And I have brought you all content on this network of people who have gotten sex changes and they were miserable afterwards. And that's the point of it. You can't take it back. You can't go back. This is not like buying a Hyundai to a Mercedes, or having a Mercedes and downgrading to a Hyundai. This ain't that type of party. This ain't liking cottage cheese over cheddar cheese. Once you sign your name on the dotted line to go under the knife, there is no going back. And no one should want their child to go under the knife, to do such a serious surgery. And that's my opinion. Because I've seen many stories of people who went under the knife and they regretted it because it did not turn out the way they had anticipated. And it goes to logic. You are trying to conform something that was supposed to never be. Okay? You're trying to emulate something that God designed. God gave you a penis. He gave you testicles for a reason. It does not matter that you don't want it. You don't like it. You don't like the way it looks. The way it looked. Well, God said, I don't care. Okay? I don't care that you don't like it. I gave it to you any damn way. Same thing with a woman. She's got up for JJ and boobs. She don't like it. So now what's she going to do? You definitely can't grow a vagina into a penis. I do believe somebody's tried, but I don't think that's going to work out because there ain't enough flesh down there to mold into a penis. I think most of you know this. So as for the boobs, you want to tape it down, duck it down, go get the surgery to cut your nipples off, flatten your chest, get those nice little scars to emulate a man's chest. It will never be a man's chest. It will never be a man's chest. Now you got to take hormones to grow facial hair, body hair. But in the end, you are still a female. So you can cut on your chest, mutilate your girlfriend. You are still a female. Same thing with a male. You can remove your body parts, get it cut. You are still a male. Nothing is going to change that. This is why they don't recommend you getting the surgery, because your mind versus what you see physically, three different entities. And yes, they don't coincide. And it's a tragedy, but it's nothing you want to mess with. And sadly, many people have had to learn the hard way. All right, we're going to get to the next video. Thank you for joining me. Lord have mercy. Military. Trump doesn't want any trans in the military. He does not feel like you will be qualified to be in the military as a trans person. So I would also assume you want to join the military, I guess as a gay, bisexual, trans, whatsoever. Will they start messing with the people's benefits? I do believe they have tried. We will see where this goes as far as trans in the military. Just showed you a video of a couple talking. Both are trans persons. Oh, Lord have mercy. Also, he's got another executive order pertaining to federal funds, but the Supreme Court has blocked that order by Donald Trump pertaining to funds being a freeze on certain funds. Roseanne Barr put out a video a week or so ago before Trump got inaugurated, I guess. This stupid ass song don't make no damn sense. Then there got this infamous short of the president trying to kiss his wife. She would not allow her husband to kiss her on the mouth. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, going through all my content, everybody. I brought you content pertaining to trans women in the prisons. I don't agree with it either. As I said, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. I don't believe in that. I don't believe a woman should be in a man's prison. I don't believe a man should be in a woman's prison. Okay. Once again, funding freeze. Supreme Court has not upheld that Donald Trump. They have he tried to put a freeze on the federal funds, but the Supreme Court has blocked it. All right. Children under the age of 19. Trump orders to end federal support for children trying to transition. Let's hear that content. Go to my community page, take the polls, everybody. I will read the results after these videos. See how you all voted.
These children to go through full puberty as a
One of the executive orders President Trump signed today cuts federal aid for gender transitions for people under 19.
Just yesterday, the president ordered that transgender people cannot serve in the military. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister spoke to a local transgender advocate about the decisions.
President Trump says these laws will be strongly enforced, but those who are in the transgender community say that the president is purposefully instilling fear. Access to transgender care in the United States is quickly being limited as President Trump kicks off the beginning of his second term. The president signing an executive order on Tuesday to end funding for gender-affirming medical care for people younger than 19 years old. That includes puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery.
You are forcing these children to go through full puberty as a gender that's not theirs, and making it harder for them to transition later on as adults.
Morgan Mayfair, who is transgender, is the executive director of Trans Social, a South Florida group that advocates and provides resources for transgender people. He says
I have to interject here. Sir, you're not making any sense. What do you mean that the gender is not theirs? That is their gender. How you identify and what your gender is two different things. You're born a man, you're born a woman. Not a dog, not a cat. Even a cat is male and a dog is female or male. Okay? The male dog, he can't become a female dog. A cat can't become a damn dog. How about that? Dog can't become a cat. Stop this nonsense. Like I said, I don't tell somebody how they should feel about who they are, because how you feel and what is two different things. And some people just refuse to understand this. And quite frankly, just with all the things I'm seeing lately, the way people act, young people, even people my own age, everybody is just gone. Physically gone. Your mind is just warped. I can't tell a man how to feel about his body or a woman. But you cannot tell people you are of the opposite sex and expect them to say, oh, okay. So I've been calling you Johnny since birth. Now all of a sudden, now I got to call you Johnita. You better address me as she. No, I don't. No, I don't have to. I don't care. I don't have to. I don't have to think anyway, because I'm not you. And that's what people need to understand. You can't force somebody to call you an opposite sex. Call you a different name, okay? We're not talking about changing a name legally, or you decide, well, my name is Miranda, now I want to be called Mary. We're not talking about that. Totally different. You're talking about saying, I'm a man, but I'm born a woman. And then you hear this transitional person here saying, well, that's not their gender, but it is. So you all are feuding people who are already troubled upstairs to believe that they are the opposite sex. How is that logical? That's not logical. Because you can get yourself so caught up into wanting to be a man or a woman that you lose sense of reality. And that is basically what you're feeding children, what you're feeding people who are confused about their sexuality. Hey, lady, you can become a man. Just take these treatments, these hormone treatments. You can become a guy. No, she cannot. because she can never grow a penis. She can never grow testicles. She will never know what it feels like to be a man. Hell, there are men who are actually masculine, and it ain't that they're gay, but they may not identify with the role of being, a man and what's expected of a man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we have ideologies on what a man is supposed to do, how a man is supposed to act, the responsibilities of a man as a husband and a father. But telling a man he's a woman, I don't understand how anybody think that's constructive. Oh yeah, Bob, I get it. You're now Bonita. How does that make any sense? It does not make any sense. As I said, I'm not here to knock anyone's feelings about how they feel about themselves, but you are feeding, it's like a false prophet. You sit here telling somebody, hey, you're God, when you know you will never be. You are God. Hey, you're a billy goat, but you're a cat. Telling a billy goat he's not, it's nonsense.
Executive order will create mental anguish for transgender youth.
Just the phone calls that have been coming in droves to all the organizations and also the hotlines. These children are frightened, so are their parents. They're in a panic.
Tuesday's executive order comes one day after President Trump made remarks
how you
at
doing?
a Republican conference in Doral, where he addressed the topic of transgender people in the military.
We will get transgender ideology the hell out of our military. It's going to be gone.
Trump has ordered a ban on transgender people serving or enlisting in the military, and 2 LGBTQ plus organizations have already filed a lawsuit challenging the order. Since Inauguration Day, the president has vowed to eradicate transgender ideology from a number of institutions.
They made it the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female. Gee, that was a tough one.
And prior to the president's executive order, transgender youth care here in Florida had already been banned, even with the parents' permission. But for now, reporting from Miami, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
Well, I agree. You're either a man or a woman. That's my opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. Everyone is entitled to his or her opinion. But a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Just like a cat is a cat and a dog is a dog. When did you ever see a dog trying to be a cat? So stop it. The cat can't become the dog. It's highly impossible. Now, do different animals mate? Of course, they can make their own breed of an animal, which you've seen that with dogs mixing with different dogs, just like humans mix with different humans. You're born of a certain descendant race, but that's still totally different than a man deciding, well, I'm a woman today. You can't have children. You can't bleed every month. Hello? You can't produce breast milk. So all of a sudden somebody's supposed to now just say, yeah, he's a she. And I think it's a warped sense of ideology. And it's a warped sense to feed this to children. It is wrong. That's my opinion. Because as I said, the person is already confused and you're just hyping them up. Right now, America, that's all we're doing is hyping people up here and abroad, hyping people up to be something that they're not. And they still feel inadequate. That's why a lot of people who are transgendered, homosexual, bisexual, they end up killing themselves because they can't be that opposite sex, because that is the point. Sadly enough, you can't be the opposite sex. Doesn't matter. You feel like a guy, you feel like a female, but you're not. You're gonna do what? Try to travel to the ends of the earth to make yourself become a woman. But you can't. You're getting ready to mess up your bodily functions and organs to try to emulate being a woman. Make it make sense. You want to feed this ideology to a child who's already exposed to so much in the school, in the world, bullying, all type of things. Why are you wanting to sell that to a child? Hey, Bobby, I get it. You're confused. Well, I'll give you some hormones, make you feel better, make you feel like a female. But yet Bobby can never be a female. So he can get fed all the hormone treatments, get his body nipped and tucked. He's still a boy. That's the point. He's still a boy. So Donald Trump says no care to children under the age of 19. No hormone therapy, no pills, no surgeries. As you heard in this commentary, it's banned in the state of Florida to have surgeries for children, which I agree. No child should ever get a reassignment surgery, either by their parents signing or whomever. I totally agree. You should not want your children being cut and diced because they feel like they don't identify with their born sex. Okay, got a lot to talk about, everybody. So we talked about men, women in the prisons, troops. He don't want troops, trans in the military, no care for children under the age of 19. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. What a world we live in. Let's see what else I got here. Let me play this. I don't know if I played this or not. Hold on one second, everybody. We're also going to talk about sports. Should a man play on a woman's basketball team, volleyball team, vice versa? I say no.
Feeling like a man, woman, or somewhere in between. Under that
Thursday, back in the White House, President Donald Trump signing multiple executive orders, and today some of those are being challenged.
ABC Action News reporter Jada Williams is focusing on one of those hot-button issues tonight, gender identity. And she listened to the people most impacted.
On his first day back, President Donald Trump is making his intentions clear.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
An executive order signed on day one requires the country only acknowledge sex, not gender, from prisons to shelters to government application. Sex refers to a person's biological characteristics, either male or female. Gender is the social and cultural construct surrounding feeling like a man, woman, or somewhere in between. Under that order, all that counts is your reproductive organs.
It is a bit surprising given the urgency of a lot of the issues that Americans are facing these days that the new administration chooses this as being one of the front leading issues to tackle.
Sydney Duncan, Senior Counsel at Advocates for Trans Equality, sees this executive order as just the beginning.
We are afraid and concerned that the new administration is going to continue to sort of underline this narrative that these sorts of provisions of healthcare need to be disrupted. And inevitably, especially at state levels.
And while the president has not introduced any changes to healthcare for trans patients, it's top of mind for them and providers like Dr. Bob Wallace.
This comes up daily in talking to our patients. I've already seen some reports of people saying, I'm being told I'm not real because I'm transgender. And we just don't want that to happen. We have to do something to stand up.
Dr. Wallace owns Love the Golden Rule, a medical facility focused on treating others how you would want to be treated. Right now, that means being there for his trans patients.
Many people were predicting that there would be an issue related to the existence of transgender people, and we as providers are concerned about transgender care. Our goal is to continue to message everyone and let them know that we are here. We're not going to back down. We're going to provide care because there's no reason we can't.
Jada Williams, ABC Action News.
Well, I'm all for everyone getting care, no matter who they are. But when you say care, you are specifying care according to being somebody else. That's totally different. Just like with the prison system, same thing. I'm talking about care as in you need new glasses, you're having eye trouble, you're having stomach pain, you're having back pain, you're having migraine headaches, you're coughing up blood. That's the type of care I'm talking about. I'm talking about immediate care. I do not believe anyone in the prison system or jail needs to be getting hormone therapy. For what? That is the whole point of going to jail and prison. You are not getting treatment and special privileges that you would get normally free. So why should you go into prison worrying about a haircut? worrying about a hairstyle, worrying about looking like a woman, looking like a guy. You are in jail. You are in prison. That is the point of going to jail and prison. You have forfeited all your rights to amenities that you once had as a free person. So hell no, you don't deserve to get. The state and the government should not be paying for hormone treatment in prison. I'm sorry. You go into prison as a man biologically, you need to be in a men's prison, not a female prison. No woman should have her ass in a men's prison. Doesn't matter that she feels like a Bob, she ain't a Bob, so she needs to be in a women's prison. Same for a guy. You walk into the prison as a guy, you need to go in a men's prison. I don't want to hear all this bullshit about you worrying about being harassed and you worrying about being bullied, raped. You can be raped whether you walk in looking like a guy, acting like a guy. Same thing with a woman. If this is the day that they want to gang rape you or rape you, it will happen. It's not that I'm promoting even sexual assault. The point I'm trying to make is you can't control the minds of other people. And I get it. You fear for your safety because you're walking in as a feminine man. But that's the point. People who are going to do whatever they want in the prison anyway. They do have sex in prison. They don't promote it, but there is sex in the prison, same-sex sex. There is sex between man and man, woman and woman. And they have it even when there is a transgender person entering into the prison or jail system. Everybody knows this. Men walking in, acting buff and heterosexual, they do eventually engage in homosexuality or they engaged in it in the street. Take your pick. And as they said, this is a 1% situation, 10% situation of transgender persons in the prison system. So I believe a man needs to go to a man's jail, prison. Woman, same thing. Sports, same thing. Bob has no business playing on a woman's volleyball team. Susan, she don't have no business trying to play for the fucking Raiders. That's my opinion. Now, trans in the military, slippery slope. The Trump administration feels like you're not adequate to be in the military as what we would call a she, he, she. And we've seen many people come out of the military, few people rather, men specifically, who have crossed over and decided they want to live as a woman, okay? Once again, as I said, that is your choice. But I want you to also imagine the tone that's been set for people in the military. We know there's a lot of scamming in the military. A lot of horrible things have happened in the military with rape of women by men, officials, comrades, sergeants, so on and so forth. We're not going to sugarcoat anything here. But we're not talking about that subject today. We're talking about trans persons in the military. I don't know if I care for that either. I'm just saying. And I'm liberal. That's why I always try to tell people, everybody don't think the same. All liberals don't think the same. All conservative people don't think the same. I do have a lot of conservative ideologies, but I am a liberal, and I claim it. I think you need to be your best self. That's what I think. But just like right now, my best self would not be trying to be a man. I know I'm not a man. I don't want to be a man. Now, the person over here, they're opposite. He's a guy wanting to be a female. But the point is, you can't be her. There's no being a she. Nip, tuck, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because you're trying to be something that you're not. And that's why a lot of people who try to transition, they're unhappy and they're depressed. They end up becoming suicidal because they're trying to attain something that is impossible. And I think it's time that we stop aiding people in this foolishness. Talking to a man like he's a woman. Honey and child, girl, let me tell you, all that flaming and stuff. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. I don't care that you like men and you a man. That's not my problem. It's the flaming and the emulating and the walking around with a fucking purse. putting on lipstick and eyelashes. I don't think people realize how ridiculous that looks. And walking around with a size 13 shoe and a motherfucking high heel. Come on. It's just ridiculous. And they said gender is about how you feel. So I stand corrected when I said, well, to me, it's all the same. In my mind, it is all the same. Biological gender. It's just the same in my mind. You're a man checking the box, female. I'm a woman. And we're teaching this to children. Why the fuck do you think this is okay to teach this to a child? Children are confused as it is. They go through a lot. Many of you know you've been a child. Some of you had great childhood, some of you didn't. Okay, now imagine having a fucked up child. Or you think you're a girl and you're a boy. Come on. This is crazy to me. So I say no to trans people in the prisons. You go by the sex you are. Bathroom, same thing. We'll talk about that as well, because all that's going to be a part of this. You damn right. You a man, well, you stand your ass up at the urinal and you urinate because you have a penis. You are not a female. The only time a man should be sitting on the toilet is when he's doing you know what. I don't care that you walk around with a dress. You have no right in the women's restroom. Because as I just brought you content, men go to women's prisons, and next thing you know, they're having sex with the women. So one hand don't wash the other. Oh, I fear for my safety in a men's prison, but yet you go to a women's prison and you're having sex with the women. So you're getting a free fall to have sex because you have a penis. Because that's what God designed the penis for, was a vagina. Vice versa. But, oh, I don't want to go to a men's prison because I don't want them picking on me and I don't want them raping me and beating me up. Well, see, that's the whole point. You can't have it your way. Because once you decide to commit a crime, it don't matter who you are. That's where the judge sends you. So you could just as easily get hurt in prison no matter how you identify, okay? I can be a woman and go into a women's jail in prison and get beat up and identify as a woman. Same thing with a guy. The guy goes to a men's prison, he could get beat up just because he's there. That's just the way it is. And that don't have nothing to do with identification or how you identify. There is violence in prison. There's violence in jail. Competition, gangs, all of that. So that's why you have to think, God bless me, I don't lose my control to where I have to end up in prison. Period. No matter how I identify. Now, Donald Trump says male, female. I agree with that as well. No in between. No checking boxes of other shit. I was filling out some forms recently and they had all these other damn boxes. And I was just like, this is crazy. There was never an option besides male and female. Okay? There was never an option years ago on government forms, applications, surveys. They ask you your age, 15 to 30, 18 to 30, so on and so forth, 35 to 50, whatever, you check the box. They ask you if you're male or female, you check the box. There has never been in between until recently. There was never an issue about the bathroom until recently. That's my point. There was never an issue about going to jail or prison until recently. There was never an issue about getting children's hormones and surgeries until recently. This shows you we are warped in the brain. We have allowed people to say, well, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to dress how I want. Once again, your choice. You're a man, you want to put on makeup, carry a purse, put on a dress, cross-dress, your business. But when you went from cross-dressing, because you see there's stages to this nonsense. When you went from putting on a dress, carrying a purse, putting on makeup, then you had the audacity to say, oh, well, now I'm a woman. You better call me a she. So then these motherfuckers go raise hell, and now everybody's getting their panties all up in a knot saying, well, we got to change the rules. No. You don't change no fucking rules. There's no change in what God made. Whether you believe in God or not, well, I do. And even homosexual people, bisexual people, you know this shit ain't right. You know it's not right. You know there's no reason for us to be checking 15, 16 different fucking boxes. All this binary, kookaberry shit. Just stop it. Just stop it. Got your children wanting to check boxes. They don't even know what the hell they're checking because they're confused. This is the reason why you don't promote this type of nonsense. You're dealing with fragile minds out here, and fragile children grow up to be fragile adults. And we've seen this time and time again, that changing the sex is not going to change your mindset. That's not going to change anything because you don't have a guarantee that life is going to be better by you changing your sex. Same thing with putting on makeup, lipstick, women's clothes. That's not going to make you a woman. That will never make you a woman. You asking people to call you a she, that's not going to make you a woman. Begging people to call you a she, that's not going to make you a woman. Same thing with a female, cutting her chest and taking hormones. That's going to make her a man. She don't have sperm. She don't got a penis and testicles. Never, never, never. Same thing with a man. He can't make breast milk. He don't got breasts. He don't got it for JJ. He can't do shit. All this running around, flame throwing and shit. Men walking around with purses and high heels. I'm looking at it just now in this Love and Hip Hop Miami shit. And I'm looking like, this is how jacked up that we think this is okay for a man to be walking around pretending he's a woman buying women underwear and a bra, and he's sitting up here with a bald ass head with fucking eyelashes on. Why can't you just be a proud homosexual man? Why not? Why can't you be a proud homosexual man? Hi, my name is Bob. I'm a homosexual. And leave it at that. You a guy. You want to play basketball, then play basketball. But you play for your team. Not a she team. Don't go get a lawyer because somebody said you can't play on the team. Hell no, you can't play. You say, well, I want to put a dress on. Can I play? Hell no, you can't play. Hell no, you can't play. I'm sick of this. Like I said, we can all agree to disagree. We don't have to have the same mindset. We don't have to agree Democrat, Republican. To me, I don't see that. See, that's why I keep trying to tell everybody, I'm not grouped in the same category with other people. I might say I'm a liberal, but that don't mean I agree with everything that's liberal. As you see, Biden, Obama voted for this care for people in prison. Well, I don't agree with it. That's why I tell people, don't judge me according to other Democrats, because I do have a lot of conservative ideas. Some might say, well, I should have been a Democrat. Maybe I should have been a Republican. Maybe. The point I'm trying to make is I view my commentary and my ideas on how I was raised. So before I knew that this person's a Democrat or Republican, I'm judging my commentary on how I was raised. Don't matter. Okay, you a female, you looking at a female, you think she's pretty. Okay, but so what? That don't mean I think I should be a guy. When I look at a woman, I say, oh, she's pretty. Or you decide as a woman, you want to kiss a woman. Okay, you want to take it further and do more with a woman. You still can't be a man. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Let's take the polls, everybody. Welcome to the Vote Excel. These are all executive orders by Donald Trump. No trans women in the men's prisons. 90% of you agree. 5% Care for children under 19 years of age. This is where people want to get surgeries, hormones for their children under the age of 19. Donald Trump says no care for kids under 19. 93% of you agree. 7% of you are not sure. Very interesting. No trans in the military. 64% agree. 21% disagree. 7% not sure. 7% don't care. No trans in sports. 50% of you agree. Wow, that's scary. 31% of you disagree. 13% of you are not sure. 6% of you don't care. This is where this is scary as fuck. 50%, and there's only 16 people voted. You think a female should play on a men's team? Help me understand. How you think that's okay? How do you think it's okay for a guy, 6-foot guy, 250 pounds, he should be playing on a women's volleyball team? Help me understand. I'll let that sit right there. Big old guy, weighing more than the average female, playing on a women's volleyball team, swim team, softball team. Hell, even a ballerina. Let's go there. Just saying. Make it make sense. You want to see a man dressed up in a tutu and tights, ballerina slippers, competing with other ballerinas? Just saying. Since this is where some of you Americans and foreigners think this is okay behavior of the sexes mixing together. And if we're going to have the sexes mix as far as sports competition, then how would it be fair in sports? It wouldn't be fair. And I'm not saying who's the strongest, but we're going to use just common sense, okay? Just use common sense. No way a man needs to be dressed up in a ballerina and a tutu, performing along other female ballerinas, if you get my drift. Same thing with a female. 5'5" female. She's 120 pounds. No way should she be out on a football field running with men 6 feet tall, weighing 200 pounds, 175 pounds. Come on, make it make sense. If the women want to start a football league, cool. I don't have a problem with that. Somebody wants to start a female football team, rugby team, cool. But why would a woman want to play on a male rugby team, football team, basketball team, men's swimming? Same thing. Guy want to be a swimmer. I think that was an issue we had. You're a man, but you want to swim on a women's swim team. Come on now. Just stop this nonsense. We have women sports equal to male sports. That's why the women have their own team. High school, college, same thing. Women's swim team, men's swim team. So you a man, why can't you swim on a men's swim team? Why not? This is ridiculous. Let's talk about it. House bans trans girls from women's sports. Welcome to the vault, everybody. Happy birthday to the queen. Today's queen's birthday. She's 54. Amen. God is good.
Dispute over trans and gender athletes competing in women's sports, one of its top priorities, with the debate playing out in the House today. National correspondent Matt Galka has more on how the culture war issue became a defining election topic.
House Republicans quickly passed legislation aimed at barring transgender women and girls from participating in sports based on their biological sex assigned at birth.
It's absolutely absurd that we have to actually pass a bill that says only women can be in women's sports.
Exactly.
But I've been honored to be a part of the fight.
Transgender rights played a large role in the 2024 election.
Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
With Republicans using a perceived threat to women's sports as a key campaign issue.
President Trump ran on this. He ran ads on this. And I think the public has spoken very clearly about where they stand on this.
Transgender issues also became part of the self-reflection Democrats have done in the wake of 2024 losses. 2 Democrats joined all Republicans to pass the bill in the House. But to a majority of the party, the bill is seen as an unnecessary and predatory culture war attack on kids.
Republicans' creepy, weird obsession with your kids' private parts now means that they're passing bills that let them inspect what's in your kids' pants.
CDC data has about 3% of high schoolers identifying as transgender, but multiple polls show a majority of Americans support restrictions on competing in school athletics. And around half of the states in the country have passed laws with school athletic restrictions.
My own daughters competed in sports as they were growing up, and I can only imagine the anger I would feel as a dad.
Exactly.
To have their trophies stolen from them.
10 athletes out of 500,000 athletes. That's the scope of what we're dealing with. So the House Republican Conference would choose to have this conversation rather than something that is more expansive, that truly helps lower costs or make people's lives better.
House Republicans previously passed the bill in 2023, but the then Democratic-controlled Senate.
Let me interject there. I get it. There are a lot of more life-threatening things we should be talking about, sir. But the point is, as the other guy, I think that was Mr. Cruz speaking earlier, if you people weren't going on and on about a girl competing as a boy, vice versa, it wouldn't be anything for the Senate to have to pass a bill. It is common sense. Why should a boy want to compete as a girl on a girl team? For what reason? That is stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid and it's ignorant. You know, I don't even consider this discrimination. You want to go build a girl football team? Cool. Then go make one. It's no big deal. But a girl don't have no business competing on no fucking football team. A guy don't got no business competing on a girl volleyball team. It's common sense. Boys want a volleyball team? Go make one. Go make one. Well, what's the big deal? You want to add it to the intramural sports? Then add it. But a boy don't got no business playing on no girl team, no sports team. Because the one thing you all seem to forget, weight, muscle mass, and changing in locker rooms. You want the boy going in the girls' locker room after they compete, watching the girls walk by naked in their brassiere and their underwear? Come on now. So you all need to stop this bullshit. Stop trying to make it seem like it's being discriminatory. It's not being discriminatory. We've been doing this since day one when 2 people sat up in the heavens and decided to eat off the tree of life. And when somebody ate off the tree, when they were told not to, they realized they had a penis and a vagina. Her name was Eve. His name was Adam. There was no they up there. There was no XYZ up there. There was no cat, monkey, dog, giraffe, billy goat up there. 2 people. 2 people and a snake and a tree. That's it. That's it. So just stop this nonsense. If women or girls want to ask the school system to have a competing team, such as what boys have, I'm all for that. You want a girl rugby team, girl soccer team? I don't have any problems with that. Guy volleyball team, cool. But no guy needs to be on the girls' team, and he don't need to be going to the room. Same thing for adult sports. You want a woman going into a locker room with a bunch of fucking men? She's going to walk by men naked. They're walking by her naked. And you think something bad wouldn't jump off in that type of scenario. Are you people just ignorant? And then you know what they do with football? They pat each other on the fanny. So you want a woman out there getting her ass fondled? I'm just saying. Because it's more than just her going on the team, getting hurt, or the guy playing on the team, and he's weighing more than average female. It's after the fact. They got to go change their clothes. Oh, let me guess. You want them to have a separate bathroom for Johnny? Well, we only have one boy on the swim team. We need to have a locker room specifically for XYZ. Stop this nonsense.
Opted not to take it up. Senate Republicans can't take it up this time, but it remains to be seen if any Democrats would join in to get the 60 votes needed in the chamber. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Galka.
Weigh in, everybody. This is my last topic. Males and women's sports, girls' sports, vice versa. As you heard Mr. Cruz saying, I believe that was Mr. Cruz speaking, this shouldn't even be a conversation. And I don't think whether you are heterosexual, bisexual, trans, you should understand. This should be one subject we all agree on. Democrat, Republican, liberal, however you view yourself, this is one subject we should be able to agree on. A boy has no business playing on a girl's team. That's it. That's it. Because the first time something happened to your kid out there on the field, you're the first one wanting to sue. Go get a lawyer. Oh, he trampled my baby girl. He threw her down on the ground. He banged her head and she got a concussion. Now she can't wake up. She's in a coma. Oh, well, blame the school. They put them on there, put them on the team. That's why I said nobody's thinking, because we're self-serving individuals. We only think about ourselves. We are all selfish, some form or another. But this is lunacy. You're a lunatic if you think this is okay. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like putting a chicken and a dog in an arena and expect them to fight. You know how they have chicken fights, dog fights, which, you know, is inhumane to have animals fight. But anyway, people do it. People bet on chickens fighting. They bet on dogs fighting, pit bulls fighting. So just imagine a pit bull in a arena cage with a chicken. Okay? You put a chicken in with a Rottweiler or a pit bull. I want you all to think about that for just a second. We got a chicken and a pit bull in a cage. And ask yourself how that's going to turn out. Okay? No different than putting a lion in a cage with an elephant. Same damn thing. Why should anybody even have to compare the two? Now, some will differ when it comes to the military because you feel like, well, their sex identity shouldn't determine their mindset, their knowledge of their field. You're entitled to your opinion on that as well. Trans people, gay people in the military, working in official capacity, do you think it would affect their ability to do the job? We do know we do have gay, bisexual people in various positions, managers in stores, restaurants, hairdressers, coaches. I'm sure there are bisexuals that coach teams, gays that coach teams. So someone say, what's the difference? And yes, you have a point. But Trump says he don't want you in the military. And I won't doubt it's going to probably affect benefits too. But they, voted on that many moons ago. You cannot mess with the people's, monies, their rank. So I'm sure that'll be an issue as well. That'll probably come up. Their rank in service. Will they be deranked, rank taken from them, discharged? Because that would be a terrible thing to lose your rank and be discharged. That means you won't get any monies from the military. Weigh in, because I'm sure that's next. If you don't want trans people in the military, that would have to also come next. Your rank, your position, and also being asked to remove yourself from the military if you have been found out to be trans and walking around Bob dressed as Benita. And we have seen a lot of men come out as veterans after the fact, or even still in the military, now dressed as a woman, saying they're a woman. And I think what's going to be the issue with that is, it'll be just like any position, but, the military just has a different perception than a regular job. The military is geared more masculine work. It's not saying that women can't go toe-to-toe with guys in the military, but it is a more masculine branches. So, you one day walking around, I know you as Bob. You come back to work, you're now Benita. I may not take you as serious as Benita as I did Bob. And as I said, there shouldn't be any biasness, but we know there's biasness because I'm sure there are a lot of men in the military. They don't want women there. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they don't want women there. And we have a lot of allegations of sexual assault, even murder. Men murdering women in the military, which I do not agree and condone. And that's why I said it's a scary. That's why I have talked about it on my network. Should women even be in the military? Just because of the biasness and the way some men, they have backwoods thinking. A woman's place is in the kitchen making babies, not in the military, not working, not working in male-dominated fields. To say a woman can't do a man's job, we have seen it happen. But all I'm saying is we have terrible people out here who have terrible ideologies, and they're dangerous, and they just so happen to be in the military. And they don't want women there. They're sadists. So they don't have a problem with sexual assault in their comrade. They don't have a problem with that. And that's why women need to be careful in any area that's male-dominated. That's just common sense. So do you believe there should be transgendered persons or openly gay persons in the military? How do you feel about them keeping their rank, their pay, their pension, all of those things? Because I got a feeling that's going to come out in the next 4 years. I see that coming out. Being identified as a man or a woman, new executive order by Donald Trump. There'll be no more bi this, trans this, XYZ this. There'll only be 2 boxes on documents. No more care for children under the age of 19. There'll be no more hormone therapy, pills, surgeries. I agree with that as well. And lastly, men in women's prisons. You go to prison as a man, you will be housed in a men's prison. The order is now for all men who identify as trans to be removed from women's prisons. I agree with that as well. I'm not here to aid any type of bullying of any person. Black, white, short, tall, fat, Mexican, Jew. But the point is, you did commit a crime. You were arrested. You were sentenced. And you were told to go to prison. That has nothing to do with Donald Trump. That has nothing to do with Republican, Democrat. That's just what it is. You committed a crime. And as I said earlier, you can just as easily go to prison or jail and be accosted by the inmates. That's the risk you run in an area of people who are violent. They're violent offenders. They're mentally ill. They've been drug-induced. That's the risk you take. And people with a warped sense of identity. That's just it. But I do not believe a man should be in a woman's prison, nor do I believe a woman should be in a man's prison. And if we want to go there with the bathroom situation, I'll say it again before I check out of here. You were born a boy, you should go in a male's restroom. Same thing as a female. And most women who are homosexual, bisexual, they do not feel comfortable going into a men's restroom for the obvious reason. They know that once they go in that room, nobody can see what goes on in that room. They would be petrified that a guy would make them out to be a female dressed in men's clothing. So they're not going to feel comfortable in there, okay? Now here we go. I'm not a bro, so I don't know who the hell you're talking to. So here we have all this nonsense coming in. I'm going to check out of here. This was a 4-part live pertaining to transgender in sports, military, prison, being identified as male or female only, and no care for children under the age of 19. Please follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app under the same name, The Vault XL. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. I have an extensive library of 3,000 plus videos and shorts. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Angie129 Cash App. Today's the Queen's birthday. I turned 54. God is good and I'm highly favored. And I thank him to see another day. And I'm going to check out of here. But I want to thank you all for tuning into this network. Once again, there are a lot of executive orders trying to get on the books by Donald Trump. Some will probably not make it. Some probably will. But the one, according to freezing of funds, Mr. Trump wants funds frozen pertaining to housing, rendering aid to other countries. That has now been blocked by the Supreme Court, if you did not know. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live stream to get the said information pertaining to all the subject matters discussed during this live stream, okay? And I thank you all so much for following this network. I pray that you all have a wonderful week. I will put up a movie of the week. I'm sorry, I meant to do that Sunday or Monday. I'm a little bit behind, just trying to catch up on my rest because my sleep pattern is terrible. Right now, I'm up in the AM doing a live stream, so it throws me off. But I thank you all so much. And we'll meet back up here again and chop these subject matters up. Once again, take the polls. I've got a poll per subject matter, and we will see where it goes. You all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And you are listening to the Vault XL. So I thank you all so much for tuning in. As for you trolls, you all need to get you something to do, baby. Life is short, okay? Thank you. Talk to you guys later. You all have a wonderful week. Thank you, Perspective. Thank you so much.